the Textron Theater.
And this is Helen Hayes.
Textron, maker of finest textile products, through the cooperation of America's great retail stores, presents a new radio series of finest plays starring Miss Helen Hayes. And here is Miss Hayes.
Thank you. Tonight's play is Angel Street by Patrick Hamilton. Angel Street was tremendously successful on the stage, both in London and New York, and also in the movies, where it was known as Gaslight. As our guests, we're happy to welcome Sir Cedric Hardwicke to play Sergeant Ruff and Mr. Boris Karloff to play Mr. Manningham.
Textron performs every step in creating radiant, finished fashions for you and your home. Textron products are made to a music that begins with the whirl of spindles. Magic man-made fibers are spun on whirling spools till the Textron yarn is feather-light and giant strong. Woven to the music of harp-like looms, the Textron patterns rise like melodies, and the Textron dyes are chords of color. Warp of shadow, weft of sun, glimmering, shimmering miles of loveliness. Click go the cutters, hum go the stitchers, with parachute precision in a flowing undertone, till the Textron products gleam in finished perfection. Draperies, bedspread, shower curtains, hostess coats, lingerie, menswear, myriads of fashions. And wherever it appears, the Textron label is a symbol of strength and beauty blended like music, every step of the way from the raw fiber to the finished Textron masterpiece. And here is Angel Street, starring Helen Hayes as Bella, Mr. Boris Karloff as Manningham, and Sir Cedric Hardwicke as Sergeant Ruff.
The year is 1880. The city is London, a city where at night it is gloomy and damp and chill, where on the street the gas lamps cast feeble yellow glows curtained in fog, and the houses bulk formless and forbidding and mysterious. This is the story of what happened on one of those nights in one of those houses, a house on Angel Street. But there were many long and dreary nights that led to it. There was, to start with, the night when the housekeeper, Elizabeth, steeled herself to speak to her mistress about a matter which troubled them both.
Mrs. Manningham, you shouldn't sit here alone night after night.
I know, Elizabeth, but my husband has to work at night.
Well, I question it, ma'am. Just what does Mr. Manningham do at night?
I don't know, Elizabeth. I don't know.
And there was the night when Mrs. Manningham screamed.
Manningham, what's the matter?
Oh, Elizabeth! I was sitting here reading. I've been reading since 8 o'clock. That's not very long, is it, Elizabeth? No. And yet my eyes began to hurt. And then suddenly, Elizabeth, I couldn't make out what was on the printed page.
And there was the night after that when Mrs. Manningham told her husband what had happened.
And you screamed for the servant?
Yes, Jack.
Bella, in future, will you kindly remember that you're my wife, and as such, you're not to humiliate us before a servant? You know, of course, what really happened last night.
What do you mean?
I mean nothing. Nothing happened. You imagined everything. I've noticed that you have an imagination, Bella. An abnormal imagination, a sick, diseased imagination, Bella.
And there were all the terrible nights that followed, when Mrs. Manningham imagined other things.
Bella, why did you take down this picture?
The picture? I didn't take it down, Jack.
It's down, isn't it? And Elizabeth didn't take it down because I asked her. Bella, confess. Confess the truth. You took down that picture.
No, Jack. No.
Bella, where is the grocer's bill? I gave it to you, didn't I?
Yes, Jack, it's on the secretary.
It's not here.
It is. It must be.
It's not. Bella, what new trick are you playing on me?
It was there this afternoon. I put it there. This is a plot. This is a filthy plot. You're working against me. It's a plot. Jack, I don't know. I don't know why I do these things.
I do, Bella. Surely you haven't forgotten that... Ah, no, I shouldn't remind you of it.
Remind me of what, Jack? You started to tell me you've got to finish.
Well, Bella, it's just that in view of your actions, I find it strangely significant that your mother died insane.
That was the state of affairs in one gloomy house in the damp and chill city of London on the foggy night in 1880 when Jack Manningham exhibited a curious kindness towards his wife.
I've just thought of something, Bella.
Oh, Jack, what is it? I haven't done anything wrong again, have I?
Now, why should you be apprehensive, my dear? I've thought of something rather nice.
Something nice, Jack?
Yes, I read in the paper that Mr. Macnaughton, the celebrated actor, is in London for another season.
Yes, I read that, too. What of it, Jack?
What of it? Now, what do you suppose?
Oh, Jack, dear. Do you mean it? Would you take me to see Macnaughton? You wouldn't take me to see Macnaughton, would you?
I not only would take you to see Macnaughton, my dear, I'm going to take you to see Macnaughton. That is, if you want to go.
Oh, Jack, what heaven. What heaven.
Well, my dear, you've been very good lately, and I thought it'd be well to take you out of yourself.
Yes. Oh, yes, Jack, dear, yes. That's what I need, you know, some little change, some attention from you. Oh, Jack, I'd be better. All those ghastly dreads and terrible, terrible fears would vanish, and I could go to bed feeling a normal, happy, healthy human being again. If only you'd be kind to me.
Haven't I just said that I'm taking you to the theater?
Yes, dear, yes, you have. Oh, you've made me so happy, dear. I'm going to the play. You understand that, my husband? I'm going to the play.
You seem wonderfully pleased with yourself, Bella. I must take you to the theater more often, if this is the result.
Oh, Jack, I wish you could.
Well, I really don't know why we shouldn't. I used to like nothing so much when I was a boy. In fact, you may hardly believe it, but I even had... Bella.
What is it? What's the matter? What is it now?
I've no desire to upset you, Bella, but I've observed something very much amiss. Will you kindly rectify it at once when I'm not looking, and we will assume that it has not happened?
Amiss? What's amiss? Jack, don't turn your back on me. What has happened?
You're trying to make a fool of me, Bella. What I refer to is on the wall behind you. Now, if you'll kindly put it back, I'll say no more about it.
The wall behind me? What? Oh, yes. The picture has been taken down again. Yes, the picture. Who's taken it down? Why has it been taken down?
Yes, why indeed. Will you please take it from wherever you've hidden it and put it back on the wall again?
But I haven't hidden it, Jack. I didn't do it. Oh, Jack, look at me. I didn't do it. I don't know where it is.
Then, by heaven, you're mad and you don't know what you do. You unhappy wretch. You're stark, gibbering mad like your wretched mother before you.
Jack, if I am mad, you've got to treat me gently. If I commit these fantastic, meaningless mischiefs then I'm certainly going off my head and must be treated kindly and gently so that I may get well. You must bear with me, Jack, bear with me. Not storm and rage. God knows I'm trying, Jack, I'm trying. Please believe me that I'm trying, and be kind to me.
Listen to me, Bella. I'm going out.
No, Jack, no.
Yes, I'm going out, and I expect that the picture will be replaced before I return.
Oh, Jack, be patient with me. If I'm mad, be patient with me.
I've been patient with you long enough. The picture is not replaced. While I'm out, you're going to see a doctor, more than one doctor. Think upon that, Bella.
I'll find it, Jack. I'll replace it. Oh, don't go, Jack. Jack!
Well?
You're still going to take me to the theater, aren't you?
No, madam. Emphatically, I am not.
Mrs. Manningham,
Yes, Elizabeth.
There's a gentleman to see you, Mrs. Manningham.
To see me?
Yes.
There must be some mistake. He must want to see Mr. Manningham.
There's no mistake, ma'am.
But at this hour, I don't think I should.
I think you'd better see him, ma'am.
I know you'd better see me, Mrs. Manningham.
Oh, Mr. Ruff, I'll leave you, ma'am.
Oh, no, Elizabeth.
No, I think you'd better leave, Elizabeth.
Yes, sir. I'll be in the kitchen, Mrs. Manningham.
Who are you? Why have you come here at such an hour?
Well, to answer your second question first, madam, I've chosen this precise moment to call because I knew that your husband was out.
Who are you? Are you a doctor?
Nothing so learned, madam. Just a plain police detective.
Police detective? What do you want of me?
I want you to trust me, madam. I've some questions to ask you, and I want you to take a good look at me and see if you're not looking at someone to whom you can give your trust.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you. How long have you lived here, Mrs. Manningham?
We bought this house about 6 months ago.
You bought it?
Yes, I had a bit of money. My husband always wanted this house.
You had a bit of money, eh? Oh, that's very good. And does your husband always leave you alone like this in the evenings?
Yes.
And does he give you a free run of the whole house while he's out?
Yes. Well, no, not the top floor. Why do you ask?
Not the top floor.
No, no one goes up there.
Rather funny,
Funny? I don't know.
I think it is. Now, Mrs. Manningham, to ask a personal question. When did you first get the notion into your head that your reason was playing you tricks?
How did you know?
Well, never mind how I knew. When did it begin?
Only the last 6 months. In this house, things began to happen.
Which are driving you mad with fear.
Yes, which are driving me mad with fear.
And has the top floor anything to do with it?
Yes, it has. That's how all these dreadful horrors began.
Now you interest me. Tell me about the top floor.
I don't know what to say. It all sounds so incredible. It's when I'm alone at night. I get the idea that somebody's walking about up there. Up there at night when my husband's out.
It never struck you, did it, that it might be your own husband walking about up there?
Yes, that is what I thought. But I thought I must be mad. It was the light, the gas light. At first, when I couldn't see the print upon the page, I thought I was going blind. But then I realized that it was the gas light. Someone had lit a light somewhere in this house, and then this light sank down.
Yes, that's just a question of insufficient pressure. It's the same in my house.
That's what gave me the idea that somehow my husband had come back and was in the attic. Mr. Ruff, always when the light goes up again, 10 minutes later, I hear my husband's key in the lock.
I see. Mrs. Manningham, did you ever hear of Alice Barlow?
Alice Barlow, no.
Alice Barlow was an old lady who died many years ago.
An old lady years ago? What has she to do with me?
A great deal, I fancy, if you'll follow me patiently. Alice Barlow was an old lady of great wealth. It was not my privilege to know her, but it was my duty on just one occasion to see her. That was when her throat was cut open and she lay dead on the floor of her own house.
Oh, how horrible. Do you mean she was murdered?
And the murderer was never discovered. But the motive was obvious enough. Her husband had left her the Barlow rubies, and it was well known that she kept them in her bedroom on an upper floor. In the attic, Mrs. Manningham.
But I don't see...
The murderer seemed to have got in about 10 at night and stayed till dawn. Apart, presumably, from the famous rubies, there were only a few trinkets taken. But the whole house had been turned upside down. The police decided that it must have been a revengeful maniac. I had other theories, but I was a nobody then and not in charge of the case.
What were your theories?
What if the killer didn't find the rubies? What if the only person who could tell him where they were hidden was lying dead on the floor? Can't you picture him, Mrs. Manningham? Searching through the night, ransacking the place hour after hour, growing more and more desperate until at last the dawn comes and he has to slink out into the pale street, the blood and wreckage of the night behind?
Oh, how horrible indeed. And was the man never found?
No, Mrs. Manningham, the man was never found. But do you conceive it possible that he might never have given up hope of one day getting at the treasure which lay there? And how would he do that? Don't you think... Well, what's the matter, Mrs. Manningham?
Quiet. He's come back. Look at the light. It's going down. Wait. There. He's come back, you see? He's upstairs now.
Dear me, now, how very odd that is. How very odd indeed.
He's in the house. I tell you, you must go. He'll know you're here. You must go.
Quiet, Mrs. Manningham, quiet. You've got to keep your head. Don't you see my meaning yet? Don't you understand that this was the house?
House? What house?
The old woman's house, Mrs. Manningham. This house here, these rooms, these walls. 15 years ago, Alice Barlow lay dead on the floor in this room. 15 years ago, the man who murdered her ransacked this house below and above, but could not find what he sought. What if he's still there searching, Mrs. Manningham? What if he is up there still searching?
But my husband is up there.
Precisely that, Mrs. Manningham, your husband. You see, I'm afraid you're married to a tolerably dangerous gentleman.
You see? The gas lamp doesn't cast much light in here either.
This is his bureau?
Yes. And the two bottom drawers are the ones he always keeps locked.
Let's see. Yeah, this is a tough proposition. I may have to force the lock. Well, to work.
Sergeant Ruff, why do you think my husband is...
The murderer of Alice Barlow? Well, madam, one of the acquaintances and relatives that I interviewed after the murder was a young man named Sidney Power.
Power?
Yes, Sidney Power. Conveys anything to you?
No.
Well, Sidney Power was never a suspect, but somehow I remembered his face. I saw that face again just a few weeks ago. Made inquiries and found that the owner of that face now calls himself Manningham. There we are. First door opened. Now, let's see. Not much here. This brooch.
My brooch! And, oh, my watch.
His drawer, huh?
This watch I lost a week ago. My brooch has been missing 3 months. And he said he would give me no more presents because I lost them. He said that in my wickedness I hid them away. Inspector, is there anything else? Is there a bill there? Is there a grocery bill?
No. No, we'll have to open this second drawer.
Sergeant Ruff, look. Look.
What is it?
The gas light. It's coming up. He'll be back in 10 minutes. Oh, you must get out of here.
Madam, listen to me for a second. That watch and that brooch, did your husband give those to you?
Yes.
Let me take them.
Here, take them, but go quickly.
Yes, and you must go quickly, too, to your room. Lock your door and keep it locked. Don't let your husband in no matter what. Remember, Mrs. Manningham, he's a killer.
Here. Open this door. Bella! Bella! All right then, Bella. I'll open it. Now then, Bella. May I ask why you had this door locked?
Oh, I came up to bed and locked the door.
You came up to bed?
Yes, Jack.
Then may I ask why you are still completely dressed?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you know anything about anything you do?
Yes, Jack.
Yes, Jack. Yes, Jack. Bella, did you replace the picture that I told you to replace?
No.
Bella, did you even look for the picture?
No. Yes.
Where did you look for it?
Did
you look for it in my bureau?
No, Jack, no.
Then why has the lock on the drawer been forced?
I don't know, Jack.
Now listen to me. Your dark, confused, rambling mind has led you into playing some pretty tricks tonight, has it not?
My mind is tired. I want to go to bed.
Your mind indeed is tired. Your mind is so tired that it can no longer work at all. You do not think, you dream. Dream all day long. Dream everything. Dream maliciously, incessantly. Don't you know that by now?
Dream? You saying I've dreamed all that happened tonight? Oh, God, have I dreamed?
What was this dream of yours, Bella?
I dreamed of a man. I dreamed of a man.
You dreamed of a man, Bella? What man did you dream of,
A
pray?
man. A man that came to see me. Oh, let me rest. Let me rest.
You gibbering wretch. I want to know more about this man. Do you hear? Do you hear me?
I dreamed.
Was I any part of this curious dream of yours, Mrs. Manningham?
Oh.
May I ask who the devil you are?
Me? Oh, apparently I am a mere figment of Mrs. Manningham's imagination.
Don't you think you'd better explain your business, sir?
Well, as a mere ghost existing only in your wife's mind, I can hardly be said to have any business. But perhaps if we went downstairs and let your wife get some rest, perhaps I could think of one or two curious things to tell you, sir.
Now then, sit down. Are you going to tell me your business, or am I going to fetch a policeman and have you turned out?
An admirable idea. Fetch a policeman, Manningham. Well, why do you wait?
Alternatively, sir, I can turn you out myself.
Yes, but why not fetch a policeman?
You give me the impression, sir, that you've got something up your sleeve.
Excuse me, Manningham, but do you notice the same thing I do?
Notice what?
That the light is going down in this room?
The light?
Yes, surely, there. Eerie, isn't it? Well, now I can talk freely.
Are you off your head, sir?
No, sir, just an old man seeing a ghost.
What ghost do you see, pray?
Why, it's the ghost of a woman, sir. An old woman who once lived in this house. Yes, in this very house. What things I imagine.
What are you saying?
Remarkably clear, I see it, sir. An old woman getting ready to go upstairs to bed at the end of the day. Why, there she is, look. She sits there, just there. Now it seems I see another ghost as well. I see the ghost of a young man, Mr. Manningham. A young man with murder in his eyes. Why, bless my soul, he might be you, Mr. Manningham. He might be you.
What's your game, sir?
And then I see the same man years later ransacking the house, ripping everything up, madly seeking the thing he cannot find. Oh, by the way, Manningham, have you ever seen this brooch?
You know I have. I gave that to my wife.
And I know something else about this brooch, Manningham. I know it was on the list of articles stolen from that woman's house the night she was murdered.
You seem, sir, to have some very remarkable information.
It's more remarkable than you realize, Mr. Manningham. For instance, did you realize that this brooch has a secret catch that opens a hidden compartment? Yeah, it has truly. You just press here and... you see? And what have we here, Mr. Manningham? The Barlow rubies.
What?
Well, there you are, sir. You killed one woman for those rubies and tried to drive another out of her mind. And all the time they lay in your own bureau drawer. And all that they've brought you is a rope around your neck, Mr. Sidney Power.
Do you imagine you're going to leave this room with that information in your possession?
Do you imagine, sir, that you are going to leave this room without suitable escort?
May I ask what you mean by that?
Only that I have men in the house already. Didn't you realize that they'd signaled their arrival from above, your own way in when the lights went down? Suppose we open the door and see if I'm not right. Come in, gentlemen. Quick, catch him!
Not so bad. What the devil says? Let go of me, will you? Time up! Time up! Let go of me, I say. That's it, let go of me.
There.
Leave me here.
Take it time. All right, boys.
Inspector Ruff.
Mrs. Manningham?
Inspector, I want to speak to my husband.
Very well, my dear. What do you want to say?
I want to speak to him alone.
Alone?
Yes, alone. Won't you please let me speak to him alone? I beg of you to allow me. I'll not keep him long.
Oh, I don't quite understand. Alone, huh? Oh, very well. This is anything but in order, but we'll wait outside. I'm afraid you must not be long, Mrs. Manningham.
Jack, what have they done to you? What have they done to you?
It's all right, Bella. Oh, you're clever, my darling. Terribly clever. Now get something to cut this rope. I can get out by way of the dressing room window and make a jump for it. Can you fetch something?
Yes. Yes, I can get something. What can I get?
There's a knife on the desk. Quick. Can you get it, Bella?
Knife? Yes, I'll get it for you.
Hurry. Quick and get it. That's right. Good. Cut me loose, Bella. Quickly, dear. Use the knife. Quickly.
Knife? What knife? Are you suggesting that this is a knife I hold in my hand? Have you gone mad, my husband?
Bella, what are you up to?
Or is it I who am mad? Yes, that's it. It's I. Of course it was a knife. Oh, dear, I've lost it, haven't I? I'm always losing things and I can never find them. I don't know where I put them.
Bella!
I must look for it, mustn't I? Yes, if I don't find it, you'll lock me in my room. You'll lock me in the mad house for my mischief. Oh, where could it be? Where shall I look? The desk. Perhaps I put it in the desk. No, it's not there. How strange. Oh, but here is a grocery bill. See, I've found it at last, you see. But it doesn't help you, does it? And I'm trying to help you, aren't I? To help you escape. But how can a mad woman help her husband to escape? What a pity. If I were not mad, I could have helped you. If I were not mad, whatever you had done, I could have pitied and protected you. But because I am mad, I've hated you. And because I am mad, I'm rejoicing in my heart, without a shred of pity, without a shred of regret, watching you glow with glory in my heart. Inspector! Inspector! Come and take this man away! Come and take this man away!
You have just heard Helen Hayes, Sir Cedric Hardwick, and Boris Karloff in Angel Street. Miss Hayes will be back in a moment to tell us about next week's Textron Theater play. In almost every species except the human, it's the male animal that wears the gayest plumage. And that fundamental masculine liking for bright and dashing apparel still beats beneath the most somber double-breasted serge. So it's no wonder that men just out of khaki or blue are going all out now for Textron menswear. For Textron pajamas and shorts give a man a lion's share of the spectrum at last. Bright stripes, rich but not gaudy prints, and full-tone solid colors, gold, wine, green, royal blue, red. And Textron tailoring is something for the gayest bird. Pajamas cut and finished as handsomely and as comfortably as slack suits. Shorts good-looking enough to wear in a 100-yard dash. All turned out and tailored with that same meticulous precision Textron used in making parachutes for war. Yes, Textron color, Textron style, and Textron comfort are truly a masculine birthright. Now, if wives really understand us men deep down, they'll most certainly give us Textron menswear for a merry, merry Christmas. And here is Helen Hayes.
Thank you. Some weeks ago, the Textron Theater presented Chopsticks, the first radio drama written by the young playwright Luther Davis. It was received so enthusiastically that we have asked Mr. Davis to write his second radio drama for us. The result is next week's play, Miss Rutabaker Takes Off. Miss Rutabaker is a very inconspicuous young lady until she takes off. Our guest will be the young stage and movie star, Michael O'Shea. Until next week, then, this is Helen Hayes.
The adaptation of Angel Street was made by Robert Senadella from the original stage play as directed and produced by Shepard Traub. The original musical score was composed and conducted by Vladimir Zelinsky. Be sure to watch your newspapers for advertisements of Textron products being featured by stores in your community. Always look for the Textron label, your assurance of strength and beauty blended like music, every step of the way from the raw fiber to the finished Textron masterpiece. This is Frank Gallup.
Saturday night on CBS is the biggest show in town. So be sure to stay tuned for The First Nighter, which follows immediately over most of these stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
NX, Columbia Square, Los Angeles, by transcription.